Welcome to another episode of the Kennel NRL podcast, and we bring you this podcast after another wonderful Bulldogs win. But this time, let me tell you, it was a resounding game in Belmore. So Dibbo and I were both there, and what an experience it was just to be there, to experience Belmore Sports Ground with all its beauty and its atmosphere. It was just remarkable. Apologies that we're so late. Honestly, it's just sometimes it's really difficult to go live. There's just YouTube just does not want to play ball. So we really appreciate your patience. We love you guys. Really apologize for being late. And Billy, producer, if you just want to put the camera on Dibbo as he undresses and shows pride in his team after after so long. But it's great to see. The Dogs had a good win. The Dragons had a miraculous win against the Melbourne Storm in Melbourne after 25 years. Dibbo, now your jersey's up. How you doing?
How am I doing? Mate, I'll tell you one thing. I'm excited. Like, I'm ready to go. It's going to be an epic one on Saturday. It is going to be the match of the season. The biggest match between these two sides in about 10 years, I think, since that 2015 finals eliminator. And that itself was electric that day. Man, both teams they're ready to rumble. They are rumbling, you know.
Bro, what a weekend. What a weekend. It was just, it was. We saw your team win in Melbourne, and then you and I went to Belmore, and we watched that absolute thriller of a match that, I thought got too close for my liking. I thought we were better than that, and I thought we should have won by more. But you know what? The boys did enough to win in Belmore. The Raiders were a gritty team. Props to the Raiders. So it was fantastic, and I'm so excited to break it all down. But I did want to speak about something that's a little bit less savoury, I guess, something that needs to be addressed. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have seen, but there's been some things that have happened after the game at Belmore, where Simon, the drummer, the Canberra Raiders drummer, he wears the full Canberra gear, walks around with the drums. And he actually went to Belmore afterwards to, engage in some banter and in some friendly exchange with the other, with the Bulldogs drummers. And some videos came out where the Bulldogs fans were less than friendly, less than welcoming to the Raiders drummer, Simon. Now,
I just want to add my own 2 cents in. I've seen the videos. Honestly, it's just some idiots, probably a handful of idiots. There was about 20,000 fans there on the weekend. And, it's just a few idiots. Probably has been blown out of proportion. If anything, they just probably harassed him, a bit of a nuisance. Nobody cracked him over the head or anything. But again, I don't support that sort of behaviour. If anything, I thought they would have invited Simon to come and, he's got his drum. They got their drums. I thought they just would have invited him just to, have a great time. It was pretty much a party atmosphere on the weekend. I've been to quite a bit of Canterbury games over the last few years. There is still a stigma that everyone thinks they're the worst behaved fans in the game. Maybe 2 decades plus ago, there was that thug generation. That generation's all parents, grandparents now. They're gone. If anything, the Canterbury fans nowadays are probably the best we got. I went to the Dragons game that Canterbury rolled St George this year. That was one of the most funnest games I've been to. Like, the banter and, a lot of Canterbury fans are mates with St George fans. And we were just having the best banter ever. And it was just a good atmosphere and good time had by all. Canterbury fans are probably the best behaved when it comes to crowd behaviour. Like, you go to other games and it's just a bunch of pissheads and junkies. And, you speak to a lot of security guards and they'll tell you they have a lot of trouble at other grounds. So, just a lot of these sourpusses coming out, just talking about over the top about the fan behaviour, but taking away, like, they're not even discussing how good Canterbury is. It's like they're just in denial or something. So, fuck the haters. Sorry I used the F word there, but, they're just doing anything to take away from Canterbury's thunder. So, look, I think Canterbury fans are best behaved, one of the best behaved.
Look, honestly, it means a lot coming from you, Dib. And to be honest, like, I also think that our fans have become the best or one of the best in the league because we have been through so much controversy over the last couple of decades. What I will say though, and what I think us as Bulldogs fans need to remember are I've got 3 points, and I swear I'm not gonna go on about it. But I think as a Bulldogs podcast, as someone who reaches a lot of Bulldogs fans, I think it's our duty to call it out. And so here's what I think. As Bulldogs fans, if we see this type of behavior, we need to call it out. We need to have the courage to say to other Bulldogs fans, this is not on. The good thing is that it's just a small group of silly people who carry on too much and who think it's okay to abuse other fans. It's not acceptable. If you're a fan and you're in Belmore and we continue to win, and if we go into the finals and we win and the atmosphere is going to be great, if you see it, call it out. It's not, I'm not saying put yourself in a dangerous position. Just, hey, pull the person aside. Hey, this is not on, man. Let's celebrate. Let's welcome fans. And let's ensure everybody's having a good time. Someone put their hands on him, tried to, tackle him to the ground, or maybe put him on his shoulders. Look, at the end of the day, you can't touch someone else, especially when they're surrounded by multiple Bulldogs fans who are being quite intimidating towards him. It's not hard to do. And I think we as Bulldogs fans need to keep each other in line. And the good thing is, I don't think we have to do it very often. But if it does happen, it's you can't allow celebration to become stupidity and abuse. It does not excuse it. And again, I'm trying not to belabor the point, but we as fans, we need to come together on this. The other point I want to make is, a lot of the people in the crowd in Belmore would probably be Arab, and it's part of Arab culture to be very hospitable. And we need to be hospitable. We want opposing fans to want to come to our games. We want opposing fans to want to banter with us. We want opposing fans to be part of the party atmosphere. That's what makes it so much fun. And at the end of the day, it's a game. We see it on the field. After the players finish playing, they hug, they kiss, they make up, and everything stays on the field. And as fans, we cannot lose sight of that. And I think, especially if you're an Arab Bulldog supporter, you speak to your parents about the culture and about how Arabs are known for their hospitality and how hospitable they are. I think we need to embrace that. The last point I'm going to make is that because there are a lot of racist people out there, and because that everybody's going to be trying to jump down our necks and make a mountain out of a molehill, unfortunately, Bulldogs fans need to hold themselves to a higher standard. Whether we like it or not, it is the case. We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And we just have to keep that in mind, that we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We need to hold other Bulldogs fans to a higher standard. It's unacceptable what happened to Simon the drummer. Regardless of whatever we think actually happened or what actually happened, it doesn't matter. The optics are bad, and us as Bulldogs fans, if we want to continue to enjoy the game, continue to enjoy the party atmosphere, and not have the police crack down on us, these are the standards we have to set for ourselves. And so all I ask is, if you guys see it, call it out. I'm 100% sure that there isn't a single person that's on this podcast or that engages with us was like that, or was there being an idiot. And so it's just up to us. Sorry, Dibbo. I just sort of had to get that out there.
No, that's fine. I just want to point out something. I've been to quite a bit of footy games this year and over the years, but a lot this year. Like normally over the years, I'd predominantly just go to St George games. Last few years, I've gone to quite a bit of Parramatta games, Canterbury games, St George games, Roosters, Souths. And Canterbury, I find, has the most multicultural fan base. I know everyone thinks predominantly a lot of it's Lebanese. Not the case. My observations on the weekend was there's a lot of... You've got your, your traditional base, Anglo-Saxons. Mm-hmm. I think they're still the largest supporter base there. Obviously, you got your Lebanese background. But a lot of Polynesians I saw at the game.
Massive. Big.
So a lot of, obviously, the Wogs. Love the Wogs. If you're Greek, Italian, Croat, love yous all. And then we also had I saw a fair bit of Asians at the game.
I loved it. Oh, it was fantastic. Like that's it.
That was pretty good. You guys got the most multicultural supporter base I have seen. I met a lot of gentlemen on the game on the weekend. I ran into John. John, if you're watching, you're an absolute gentleman. I ran into young Ali as well.
Oh, yeah.
It doubles up as a crazy Man United fan, but... I met a few other guys, and I'm sorry if I didn't get your names and all that because I just said you said hello to me in passing, but I hope to see you at more games in the future. And, that was just awesome. Like,
what an atmosphere. Boy, if you guys missed out, that was one of the best games I have ever been to. So here's what we did. We actually recorded a lot of video, and I've got a vlog coming out either later tonight or tomorrow morning, sort of just documenting the experience from walking to the stadium, watching the boys get off the bus, and then sort of the whole game right up until the end. And I honestly could not hear a single word I was saying to Dib, and he was standing right next to me. The atmosphere was electric. It was amazing, and I have no doubt that we got the boys over the line. And Dibbo, as a Dragons fan there at Belmore, what did you think? How did you find it?
At Belmore, I've got probably a controversial view. Love that it was packed. Fantastic out of town teams, but if you want to grow this game, the way forward is a state of the art stadium. And I know Canterbury, when they're going well, they can easily fit you a 30,000 plus stadium. Matter of fact, when they're not going well, they're still getting you upwards of 25,000 plus. I would absolutely give them CommBank Stadium ahead of Parramatta. Parramatta's had two new stadiums in 40 years and don't deserve it, don't warrant it. You go to you get the state of the art stadium. Seating's amazing. Amenities are awesome. You got the hospitality there, that's awesome. Plenty of food and easy access and great viewing. I mean, Belmore, I thought could have fitted a couple more thousand. I know they could have easily fitted 20,000 in there. That's how games should always be, packed. But I just think they got to have it a better stadium. And when I mean better stadium, you don't take it to Accor unless it's upwards of 50,000 plus. Yeah. I think now the NRL needs to, turn back the clock, back to the future maybe, revisit what they used to do maybe 60 years ago. And they used to have the match of the round played at the old Sydney Cricket Ground or the Sydney Showground. Yeah. They got Allianz sitting there and, you got those pricks from out east, the Sydney Roosters, who absolutely think they own that stadium, that they're entitled to that stadium. So I was actually loving it when Souths tried to want to take home games there, and I hope they do. But Allianz Stadium is for all of Sydney. Canterbury ain't too far.
It's a beautiful stadium after it's been rebuilt. It's just one of those stadiums that I think you're right. And if they were to do match of the round there, it would make me the Bulldogs and Dragons playing this weekend. And look, we're going to get into the preview, but that's going to be match of the year. That's a grudge match that I think both teams will be up for. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic game. I'm just so excited thinking about it. I'm almost nervous, even though I reckon the Dogs will win. It's not going to be 13 plus. It'll be maybe by 4 to 6 points. I think the Dragons will be up for it. We've beat them once before this year.
Are you talking about this weekend?
Yeah.
Jeez, you're skipping ahead already to the result.
But no. But let's.
I just want an absolute. I don't know. What do you want to call it? A Bobby Dazzler.
Oh, bro,
I want to just.
Bro, I want this game. At the end of the year,
spoken about in 20 years.
Yeah, I want this game at the end of the year to come back and say these two guys played, a semi-finals match in August. And they're in the semi-finals, and they're going to verse each other again, and we hope to get another. But let's talk about the Raiders game.
Just on that, you're going to get 20,000 whilst we're at suburban grounds. You're going to get 20,000 at Kogarah on the weekend, and I guarantee you, if they had shifted the game to Allianz Stadium, 40, they would have at least got, if not a sellout, close to a sellout.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be close to a sellout.
And if you do want to take it to Allianz, I was able for it to go to CommBank because there's a lot of. It's suicide. I did the maths today. I think. By not taking it to Allianz, the Dragons are sacrificing close to another $600,000 in their coffers. I know they have some billionaire owners, but they don't see it sent out of them. They really need that money.
Well, I put this up. I reshared. So
they really need that money.
So let's talk about the Dragons game after. I just want to recap the Raiders game.
Let's go.
So firstly, here on the podcast, there are a couple of things I want to talk about. Firstly, massive congratulations to Josh Papali'i playing 300th game for the Canberra Raiders. I think there's only been 12 or 13 players in the history of rugby league that have played more than 300 games or more for one club.
How many players? 13?
13.
Geez, so he's 0.01%.
Literally the smallest number of players that have played more than 300 games for one club. And Josh Papali'i is one of them.
I think I read a stat somewhere. 90% of players play, or 80% play 100 games or less.
Yeah, 100 games or less. That's right.
Jeez.
And it's such a such an honor to be watching someone like Josh Papali'i play. And it's a massive congratulations to him. But oh my God, did we get Stephen Crichton for a bargain? But you could be paying Stephen Crichton 1.2 million, and I'm telling you, we would say he's worth every single dollar. Stephen Crichton, like, he scores 2 tries, he set one up, he leads from the front, and
mind you, those 2 tries he scored, he did it himself.
everything.
You know, he didn't have, no one assisted him. He did it himself.
And you know what was interesting? It wasn't like he scored 3, he scored 2 tries.
Difficult. Every single one of them.
One was a barge over against Sebastian Chris and Jordan Rapiner, who are notoriously difficult. The other one was a kick with his left foot.
And then the take.
Goes outside the field, comes back in, takes the ball, puts it down, millimeters inside the dead ball line. Amazing. Then he goes to the other side of the field, regathers a kick.
Takes a bomb.
Takes it and passes it across to Fox. I am in awe of this 23-year-old dude who has come after winning 3 grand finals. Mind you, he's had a big part to play in every grand final. It's not like he's been a passenger. But he took that intercepting.
I'll just point out something. So Jamie Teasdale, he's hit the nail on the head. He's obviously, he's commented that critics show why he's the team captain, because he led from the front.
He's incredible.
Like that day, look, I know Canberra only got home by 4, but their defense is solid. It's, I know the scoreline was tight, but man, it's so hard to score against them. Like Canberra had to score some pretty awesome tries to get those 3 tries. It is very hard to score against Canterbury.
Awoken's mentioned that he said, that first defensive set for the Bulldogs, the effort place was unreal. Them gaining 13 meters, the fan base was unreal. Like that first set, you could feel the boys were on. The way they walked out, the way they were defending the whole game, and
we saw them before the game. Already on.
Oh, and you could see actually when we were walking into Belmore Stadium, they were supposed to walk from the Leagues Club down to Belmore Sports Ground.
They were ready to go.
They were pumped, but they actually didn't walk to the stadium. They caught the bus from the Leagues Club because there was too many fans, and they were worried that it was going to be a risk for the fans and for the players. So we actually walked into the stadium. As the bus was pulling in, the boys were getting off the bus, and you could see that they were up for it. They had the speaker blaring. The boys were pumped. They were happy, and you can tell they were thriving off the energy of the fans. And watch out for the vlog that's coming out tomorrow. But it was, you could see from the very, very beginning just how sort of happy they were. And it was such a festival. Like, you walk into Belmore, the kids are running around, everybody's having a laugh, everybody's smiling, everybody's excited to be, watching such a big game at Belmore. And
how good was that before the game? I know everyone saw Willie Mason at the game as well. We saw Max King out the front. He was greeting everyone. And how awesome was that? A superstar of yesteryear, Sonny Bill, was there as well.
Absolutely. Looking so dapper in his suit.
The fans are all mobbing him. There's still a lot of love for him. I know for a fact he's still got Canterbury to his heart.
Oh, he loves Canterbury. He still does. And, he knows. And look, to be honest, like there's so many players that you can call out that don't do the flashy stuff but are just incredible. Like, if we go through the team list, right, you look at, I want to call out Connor Tracy, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Reliable. So many times there where, they put him under pressure. And Fogarty was playing out of his skin.
He's a good player.
He's a fantastic player. He came down from the
Kaya
Titans.
Weeks, another good one.
Kaya Weeks was incredible. We left a couple of tries out there on the field. And we did this in...
Tarpany.
Sorry. Oh, tough.
He was he's an irresistible force. Or
he's incredible, and the way that the boys played though, our forward pack is half theirs. Right, we've got Samuel Hughes and Josh Curran. Playing in our proper? Just quickly, like
Hughes. I'll tell you why Hughes. I don't like your coach's rotation, but we'll get to that. Anyways,
yeah,
I've got a really really good take on. It's my take anyway, and this is probably why he's not winning by more.
We'll talk about that, right? But I want to celebrate the win because you know what people people want to say, oh, you beat lowly Canberra, who's on 10th, so on and so forth. That was a tough game, and I would argue. Honestly, I would argue that many teams would have lost that game against Canberra. I don't think many teams would have beaten Canberra that day. I thought the Dogs, it's very interesting just to see the consistency of our performances. And so like Jake Preston. Honestly, we lose Salmon. Jake Preston comes on. We know he's got the defense. His attack sometimes needs. You could say his running game needs to improve and things like that. But he's improving week on week. Like there's just no denying how much he's improving every single week. His running game, the way he runs the lines, the fact that he calls for a ball to be kicked in, put in for him, and he's always there chasing. It's just he's growing week to week. I thought Kickout was absolutely phenomenal for us, but before that, I need to give Sherry a shout. I don't think I give, Bronson Sherry enough of a shout out on the podcast. For the guy to miss 4 years of rugby league. No, not 4 years of rugby league. 4 years of any competitive sport. Remember, he wasn't allowed to play any sport. He comes back in the absence of Wilson and Skelton. He runs 200 meters. He sets up a try, bombs another one that he could have easily set up Connor Tracy, and runs and runs and runs all game long and defends his heart out. I have to take my hat off to Bronson Cherry because the guy is a wonder. He's a marvel. And this is only his first season back. It's scary to think what, Sherry can get to, with another preseason under his belt, with even more experience back in the NRL. It is a credit to him that he's taken all the challenges that he's had under his stride, has come back and is performing the way he's performing. And he's only 23 years old. Sometimes we forget the bloke is 23 years old. What he can become next year and the year after, I am really blown away by what Sherry is doing. Big props to you, man. It is absolutely fantastic what you've been able to do this year.
I think he's back home. First year, he's got a lot of improvement with him. That's the scary part. So it's like it's his second or third year back. First year, and it feels like he hasn't missed a beat, to be honest. And I know he'll just only get better. That's the scary part.
It's freaky. And, speaking about another one, and it's been mentioned in the chat, I think Abdul Fender's mentioned that Moot FM has also spoken about it. Sorry if I've missed anyone else that's sort of mentioned this player, but Sam Hughes, how
good was it of him off the back fence?
Bro, Dibbo and I were actually watching as they took the kick off.
There was a few select players we just kept our eyes on. He was one of them.
And you could see he ran all the way back to the back fence, and he wound up, honestly, like one of those, those little race car toys that you wind up. He was winding up.
And that was, for the crowd, you speak to a lot of crowd, and that was probably one of their highlights every time. The crowd would just start going off every time he took it up.
And the thing is, there was no fear. He was running into Tapane, he was running into Papali'i, and it's not like he was getting driven back. And don't forget, this is only his first real full season of first grade as a prop. I think he's 21 or 22 years old. And so to see the way he's developing and then to see where he can become in the next 2 or 3 years, you consider that next year he'll have Tupanua, he'll have Tom Amon next to him, Max King, he'll have Daniel Saluka Fafita. Our forward pack is coming along very nicely.
I felt like, what did he get on the weekend? Less than 40 minutes again? I felt like
40 minutes, yeah.
Honestly, I was watching him. There was no way he should have even come off again, but he got taken off for that last 7 minutes or something. But just watching him, it didn't feel like he was slowing down. It felt like he went 60, 70 minutes. He's one of those forwards that should be playing more, and it isn't. And I think it's because they still haven't got their rotation policy right. Made some observations, and now I'm starting to think the reason why he's aren't winning by more is because of his rotation policy. I honestly think some of your players aren't having as much as impact in attack because of fatigue. I know they're sticking in there and they're still, defending their asses off, but I generally think he's botching the rotation policy. Like, Curtis Morris shouldn't be getting near as much minutes as he should in replacing someone like Sam Hughes. I understand if he's replacing someone like Kurt Mann. Bailey Hayward, he gets large minutes out there, and I don't know why. Like, if you saw on the weekend, Canberra absolutely ragdolled him. There was a hit they put on him.
Hudson Young.
And he went from here to where the camera is over there and bounced off the other Canberra player, went to the ground. I kid you not, if that Canberra player wasn't in the way, that was probably hit of the year, and he probably would have went 5 metres.
But he got straight back up.
He did get straight back up.
That's what's telling. And to be honest,
But
like
it's no impact. You can get back up. I think you guys are not getting your interchange still right.
I agree with you. I don't disagree. What do you guys think? Do you think that Seraldo still needs to work on his bench rotation? Because, he's got Hopboy on the bench. He's played 10 minutes in 3 games.
Yeah, Hopboy didn't even get on. I mean, I knew straight away he hadn't gotten on.
And Hopboy was good when he was playing. When he was being given 40, 50 minutes, I thought Hopboy was doing a good job.
Like, it was unfortunate that Curran came off. Well, but it's good he came back on. But then I thought Sam Hughes would have got more time.
No, he didn't.
And I'm thinking that's blunting your impact in attack. That's what I honestly think. I always think to myself, and I've thought it for the last maybe 4 or so months.
No, but
why hasn't Canterbury blowing teams off the park?
I think I think it's only been the last few weeks where the rotation has been a little bit poor, but but before that, I thought he got it. He got it right. And B Massey's mentioned something. Whatever CC is doing is working. I trust the coach.
He's got a lot of it right. He's got a good core there. I just think that you guys, there's a lot of games there I thought you guys should have won by 20 plus. And for some reason, it was 8 points or 4 points. And I think, but Canterbury was so dominant for large periods of the game. I mean, it might be his style, but come finals, is that going to work for you? Anyways, I think, I know you will be in the finals. Barring a disaster, you will be in the finals.
Well, I mean, so before, I just want to talk quickly about this, right? Very, very quickly. The rotation needs to improve. I just want to give...
Max King will come back. That's
Max King, when he comes back, will be back against the Warriors. Will be a big boost for us.
He's a good player.
I need to give Toby Sexton a rap.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that later, but you give him all the raps you want.
I need to give Toby Sexton a rap. Last year, he was unwanted by the Gold Coast Titans. He came down to the Bulldogs, to what was a largely disappointing team.
Yep.
And played and wasn't able to show us what he can do because he was never on the front foot as a 7. This year, he gets a chance. It's come round 11, round 12. And we've won 6 of 8 with him in the team. You can't tell me there isn't a direct correlation between him being our 7 and us winning. I thought, and I think, he has been incredibly consistent for us over the period that he's been there. And his defense, which people were saying, he can't do, he doesn't have good defense, blah, 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 has been very good. Very, very good. And what I find so incredible, and it's incredible how things change in rugby league so quickly, right? Last year was unwanted by the Titans. This year he's being touted as Moot FM has just pointed out.
Do you remember what happened when him and his dad drove down the middle of the night? Do you remember giving that opportunity?
Yeah,
him and his dad. It's
remarkable.
I remember reading that.
And Sexton is being touted as a potential Reynolds replacement at the Broncos.
That's a win-win. I'll tell you why. Because it shows a club like Brisbane, one of the biggest clubs in the comp, that made last year's grand final, want him, so they value him. And then also, Toby gives him a lot of
confidence.
Yeah, he knows he's won it.
absolutely.
But then, if he goes because you got O'Neill, you got
Woods
coming through, plus a host of other young halves. So it's a win-win.
But can I just say, Dogman Adventures send 8 from 10 with Toby. You're right, it is 8 from 10 with Toby. However,
8 from 11.
Two of them were
After this weekend.
2 of them were buys. That's why I saw 6 of 8 games actually played. But people forget that Sexton is actually only 23 years old.
Yeah.
He's still very young. He's very, very young. And he has a lot of room for improvement. Like, you look at the best halves in the game, they only get better as they get sort of towards their late 20s. Like, you look at DC, didn't really come into his own sort of until he was about 27, 28. Mitch Moses, he's 28, 29. Now he's playing some of his best footy. And so I think, I'm a strong believer that Sexton can be a premiership winning half. I think he has all the natural talent as a 7. He has the organisation, and he's slowly building that combo with Burton that I think is becoming, quite irresistible for us to see what can be done with an even better forward pack next year. Now, very quickly, we've got 50 people in the chat. all I want to say is, please, guys, just hit that like button. It really helps boost us in the algorithm, helps get us more views. So please give a thumbs up. And I just want to give a very warm welcome to all our members here. And Dibbo did it before. Jamie, John Saad's in. Who else is in here? Dibbo's here. He's a member. And to all the recurring members that are here, just want to say thank you so much for all your constant support. Just be sure to give that a thumbs up. But I think, Mark Jesper said, "Good day, Bluey and Dibbo. As a Doggies fan, I'm off with what happened Sunday night. These guys are not real Bulldogs fans. They were looking for trouble. I feel bad for Simon." Mark, we did address it. We gave some very, very strong words and messages. We completely agree with you. There is no place for that behavior as a Bulldogs fan. We do not condone it. We will, as a podcast and Bulldogs fans, we will continue to call that out. And all we ask again is, please, if you do see it from other Doggies fans, just call it out. Tell them just to be responsible. There we go. The first super chat. Zatar has put in $2.99. Zatar, we love you. Thank you very much for your support.
Someone enlightened me. Sorry if I'm naive, but what happens with a super chat? Is he like, what, his comment gets highlighted or something, or what is it?
It's just it's just the way to support the the podcast with, and if he wants to leave a message, he gets called out. It's a way to just draw attention to us. So thank you so much, Zatar. Really, really appreciate it. Love me some Zatar and veggies in the morning.
Yeah.
With a bit of tea.
Sorry.
And we were talking about Sexton. I really hope we re-sign Sexton. I think he is absolutely one of our future stars. He's making great potential. Great combination with Burton.
He's on a high. They're all on a high. Connor Tracy, I was watching his game closely, and I am actually worried about him come Saturday because he wraps around the back when they go left. How
quick and scary is he, man?
He hits the line hard. He pings his ears back and goes. He's pretty nippy, and he's actually, I know there's not a lot of him, but he's actually physically very solid and strong. I'm actually worried if they don't come off their line on the weekend, he's going to absolutely damage them. So I'm hoping they somehow negate him. Another one I'll be keeping an eye on is Kikau out wide. The only problem with Kikau is, and he's a very damaging runner and he's a good offloader too, just some reason sometimes he has uncharacteristic mistakes. Like he'll just randomly lose the ball, throw a stupid pass that goes forward or to no one. But other than that, he's another danger man I am absolutely concerned about come this Saturday.
All right, so before we start talking about Saturday, very, very, very quickly, Be Massive, Kiraz doesn't get mentioned because we mention him every single week, and it's now becoming the norm, not the exception.
It is the norm. That's what
how good he is. It's the norm.
That's another one the Dragons need to watch because otherwise he's going to eat you 300 metres and set you up 4 tries. He did that last time.
Oh, Norm, thank you so much, Neo. Really appreciate it, man. You're an absolute champion. What a legend you are. Really, really appreciate all the support. So actually, being the norm, I actually want to talk about something about the team overall, right? The media talks about being overawed or being wowed by what the Bulldogs are doing, what how we're performing. I think as fans, we need to start looking at our team and not being wowed so much by what they're doing. But we start to expect it. We have to. I honestly expect it.
I'm the outsider here, and I'll tell you what. I go to a lot of Parramatta games. Yeah, great stadium.
Yeah.
Fans aren't nothing like yours. Hopefully they don't get another stadium for the next 100 years. Honestly, don't deserve it. The fans aren't as passionate as yours. I think you guys, when it comes to celebration and partying and having banter at the game, and the best, I reckon. Cronulla fans, I've got a lot of Cronulla mates that are Cronulla fans, and I think you go to their game and it's stand there and have a beer, and the game's happening there, and no one's paying attention. Mind you, they're winning and they're only getting 10 or 11,000 to their games. St George fans,
to the construction site, as someone put it on Twitter.
But even before the construction went up, it was like that. St George fans, not like you guys, but certainly up there. But I'm just glad I'm just witnessing your club rebuild. I'm seeing your fans. They're all happy. They've had a torrid 6-7 years. I've just seeing Phil come to the club, Cameron Ciraldo, Druisi come there, John Curry. From your board level down and then down to your grassroots, absolutely phenomenal. it's a good time to be around Canterbury. And I'm coming from an outsider, so it's something I like to see instilled at my club. I love to go back to the rivalries both clubs had.
That'd be amazing. Oh, mate, that would be incredible.
And no one should, it's only a game of rugby league. Just fun banter, give and take.
Have respect.
It should never get violent. It should never get personal. Your club's better than mine. Okay, vice versa. He's better than my player. Your club is shit. Okay,
yeah, it's fine.
But you should never get personal. I want to see these two clubs become the pinnacle of rugby league, not just in Sydney, but the whole NRL. How it was once before. Because growing up, St. George and Canterbury games were the games you looked at the calendar and said, oh, we got Canterbury round 17. We're going to absolutely kick their ass, and all those losers are going to go home crying.
And you know what? The banter,
and vice versa, the other way around as well. So I'm sure Canterbury fans will
the banter's real. The banter between Bulldogs and Dragons fans is real. We're both lippy fan bases, which I love. And look, to be honest,
I just want to see, banter on Saturday night. But
keep it respectful.
Good banter. We did that last game, and then afterwards, if everyone's going to go to the, there's the Bridal and Sand strip afterwards, got the restaurant and cafes. I don't want to hear there was trouble and violence and all that. I want to see it packed out, and everyone just waving their flags in their colours, having a laugh, having a good time. I will be absolutely disappointed if there's fan violence at the game
or after
the game. I don't think there is, but there is elements. There's rat bags out there that might ruin it for all. So if anyone sees anything, try to diffuse the situation.
Yeah, just call it out straight away. So Moot FM has said Geraldo's a genius for recruiting and minding. I'm assuming molding Tracy into the next Dylan Edwards, someone fit, reliable, and hard as nails. I actually agree, and I don't think he's yet as good as Edwards. But what I think he has over Edwards is the passing game. I think he has a sublime passing game, Tracy, that doesn't get enough mention.
We tried to sign him, but then he turned us down. I thought he was a done deal. I just want to point out, say, hey, be massive. At least it's not Ashley Klein. I cannot stand him.
He was poor on the weekend. He was horrible. He was letting the Raiders lay in the ruck.
He's the worst.
That Jordan
ref.
Rapana and I think was it Preston? How was that shoulder to shoulder?
The only thing now you've brought up sudden is, will Canterbury get a fair go? Like, honestly, coming from a St. George fan,
I know
you guys got about, 6 or 7% win rate under him?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, is he going to screw it for Canterbury?
Yeah, he will.
I hope he refs a good game. We'd probably only get 4 penalties the whole game. We get about a dozen big hits.
Well, we need to take it out of his hands. I think that's what the most important thing is, that the Bulldogs perform well enough to take it out of his hands.
Look, traditionally and historically for the last 20 or so years or 25 years, Canterbury got a phenomenal record at Kogarah. They win more than half their games there. I think they win about 60 or 70% of the games there. So, it's only a short drive from their traditional base at Belmore. And he's going to have about at least 7, 8, 9, maybe, I reckon it might be even split down the middle, 10,000 each fans. So it's going to feel almost like a Canterbury home game.
I don't think there were that many tickets available.
But that would have been the Canterbury fans snapping it up earlier. St. George got a lot of
maybe.
stingy fans, so they wouldn't spend a cent.
So some of the
Being honest here.
so Zacho Live has asked, what's your opinion on Belmore becoming members only? I actually think it's an interesting one because a lot of like EPL teams and much larger teams usually are members only with a small contingent of away fans. And John Sard has just given a super chat. Thank you, John. We love your support. We really appreciate it. And it was such a pleasure to meet you on the weekend as well, man. Thank you so much for coming up and say hi. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to spot you out. It was just an awesome pleasure to see you and meet you there. A lot of EPL teams are always usually members only, and you can never go up, walk up to a stadium and buy like a general admission ticket.
Almost impossible. I think what the EPL has, I think members are only allowed to buy 98% of tickets or something, and the other 2% or something to do, I think the away fans get an allocation.
Yeah, so the away fans will get an allocation, but away members, not just GA. It's always going to be away members. They get an allocation.
And then after that, there's like a certain amount where
very small amount
members of either club.
Yeah, that's right.
You can go to the public or...
That's right.
Or,
And so, look, for Belmore, if we can get 18,000 members, not only does that, will the vibe and the atmosphere be amazing once again, but it'll also continue to boost and grow the club. If we have 20, 25,000 paying members and we can't get all the members into Belmore, like what a situation for the club. What an incredible situation that would be. So, look, for me,
I would love for a Combank mirror, exact same as built there.
Oh,
but you know what? It'd probably cost about More,
300-400 million.
no, how much your combine cost us?
Yeah, about
800 million.
was it? I thought it was close to 300-400.
You got to buy the houses there as well.
Yeah, so that's the
Those
thing.
houses need to be bought. And then you need a massive parking station, and then you need traffic control. You want it to have it utilized by other sports, basically, as well, like a soccer team maybe. That's why I thought if you're not gonna. That's why I thought if you need another Combank Stadium, it doesn't. I mean, I know Combank where it's in Parramatta is not too far away. You guys can just play out of there. Or they can build one where Kogarah is, and then Cronulla, St George, maybe Canterbury or South can share one. They've got to have one where 2-3 teams can share it.
Look, I'm with you, but I don't know.
Somewhere. It doesn't have to be there. It can be in between both sides.
I don't know. I don't see it happening. Like Chris Minns is, he's premier. He's
I'll
a
tell
Bulldog
you what,
supporter.
Peter Vlandis,
He can probably get it done, to be honest.
he wanted that. He was pushing for about 3 or 4 of those to be built around Sydney, and that's what he originally floated. I think he wanted St George, Souths, and Cronulla, or Canterbury showing the Combank. And then he wanted to build one for Penrith, but obviously they're getting, and then I think you want to know where where Campbelltown Sports Ground is. And don't worry about Manly. They can move up to the Gosford,
Look, we've got 56 watching live. I think this is the most we've ever had live. So I really appreciate all your support. If you're here, be sure to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, share the video with your friends. If if they love listening to rugby league and you have any Doggies fans, just share
Who's going to the game on the weekend? I'll be there. Who's going to the game? Can we have some comments? Let me know who's going. Maybe I'll see you before or after the game or during the game.
Yeah, just come say hi if you ever see us at the game. Come say hi. We love meeting you guys. We're just crazy fans like you guys, and so we did this so we can meet the fans and have footy talk and footy banter. So if you can,
be massive. If you guys got about 20,000 members, and you have had a pretty mediocre last 7-8 years, imagine if you guys have a sustained period of 5-6 years, you will have over 30,000 members.
Easily.
You guys will start getting 35 plus to every Accor game. I think Canterbury fans probably spend the most on their team out of all the fans.
Well, actually,
in terms of merchandise and just anything,
Well, actually, the merchandise is sold out. There's jerseys that are sold out. I actually went to the merchandise stand and I wanted to get the Bulldogs jumper just because it's been a little bit cold.
Such a fanboy.
Yeah, I am. I love the Indigenous jumper. I wanted to buy any jumper though. Any jumper. They had none, and I was gutted because they're not getting them again for November. So I was spewing. And, I wish I could be there this weekend. I've been trying to buy tickets for weeks, and every time Ticketek is just such a joke. It never works. There's just so many issues with Ticketek, man. What do you guys think? Do you guys rate Ticketek? Because I absolutely hate Ticketek, man.
Unfortunately, I reckon they're always good. Unfortunately, it's Kogarah, and I think they're limited to 20,500 fans on the weekend. I was very vocal about moving that to Allianz, but a lot of you guys, including St George fans, didn't want that to happen.
I just want to call out John.
If you see me on the weekend, come say hi, and then Moot, congrats, mate. Probably the happiest day of your life. Well, once you do get married, but hope you enjoy the weekend.
I want to just call out John Sard's super chat. He's like, contribution to convert Dib to the Bulldogs. What do you reckon?
Look, I'm attending your games, and I'm actually. I've been defending you guys on social media a lot, and I've been stepping on the head of those mental midgets.
There's too many of them. There's too many idiots,
mental
man.
Midgets.
Too many idiots, man.
Like, their team for so long was so crap, right? And then their team has a little period of sustained success, and now because their team does well, they think, oh yeah, I'm untouchable. I can comment on everything. Then as soon as Canterbury start winning again, God forbid,
the racism comes out. That's what burns me.
Not just the racism. It's just the sourness. Like what? No other side can win but your side?
Yeah, it's the ones that stand out to me recently have been Broncos fans. I think it's interesting to see the psychology behind their stupidity, honestly.
No, them. They were because they had a good run under Bennett. They had a good almost 20 years under Bennett. So they thought they were, God's gift.
My God.
God's chosen people.
They were a single state team for how long?
Yeah, that's right. Or Gold Coast, who were probably Ron Massey levels.
On, man.
Anyways, Broncos fans, they think they're God's chosen people. Lo and behold, they've now been reduced to mortal status like everyone else, and they can't cope. And you know what? Put another third or fourth team in that city.
Yeah, I reckon Brisbane
because
can handle it.
eventually it'll just be like a lotto for them whether this team goes good or not.
I reckon Brisbane can handle another team. I genuinely think
Broncos fans, they're just irrelevant to me now.
They just
We used to think they were like, oh, geez, what a powerhouse club. But, you know, when you got the thoroughbreds in your corner and you got salary cap probably triple. Remember, they used to have about a dozen Queensland players in their side.
Yeah, they just at one point they had I think 12 or 13 Queens. Their whole starting side.
There was no way they were under the salary cap.
They weren't. They were never under the salary cap. There's anyway. Penalty Broncos. That's enough. Actually, Rob Ramsey's mentioned here, under Sutton, the Dragons have a 35% win rate. The Dogs have a 36% win rate. Since 2017, Dragons 6 from 17 and Dogs are 2 from 16.
Yeah, that's because you guys stopped paying him kickbacks. So
yeah,
that's why he's haven't been winning under him.
I think that it'll be an interesting game to see how we get affected by the Sutton refereeing. I do think that it could be a big game whereby the referee will have too much of an impact on it, especially if he continues to call those ridiculous 6 agains and the stupid penalties just to give one team a leg up. I'm just hoping he doesn't have too much of an impact on us.
Look, as much as I do agree with you on, you know, it took me a while to get used to 6 agains and all that, and it was never going to be a success overnight, but I just see the reason behind the madness. They got to try keep the game an attractive product. You know, they've got to try and entice revenue and fans to the games. All of a sudden, memberships are increasing, TV viewerships are increasing, fans are increasing to the games.
No, but my argument is, I actually disagree with you. Is that because of the 6 again or in spite of the 6 again? Because I think this year has been one of the worst injury-struck seasons on record.
Canterbury's, I thought, and St George have had a good run.
Canterbury and St George?
Honestly, I've looked at it, pretty much only Souths have had a bad run, if you even call that a bad run.
It was a horrible run.
Not really. Like, Canterbury had a way worse run. I don't think it's been that bad in terms of injuries. I'm being fair.
No,
I remember going back over 20 years ago, about maybe 2001, 2000. I remember in the first 12 rounds of the comp, we used to have so many ACLs, knee recos and all that done. Hardly get that anymore.
I think
sports science has brought us forward.
I think NRL Physio was putting something up.
You get a lot of HIAs and niggling injuries.
It's not just the HIAs, but it's the hamstring, it's the ACLs, the MCLs, the syndesmosis. A lot of these things are happening, and and refs are also making more mistakes. Actually, Rob Ramsey gives a very, very good makes a very good point. I think that the referees are making more mistakes because the game is too fast.
So, Rob, do we get back a second referee? Because I think, you know,
I hate the second referee.
I'll tell you what, I think it's a more attractive product. We're seeing more sustained possession by sides. And if you go back to in the rugby leagues, I don't know if you want to call it the golden era, but going back way back in the unlimited tackle rule, the crowds were much bigger back then.
Well, they were the golden era because St. George won 11 in a row.
I'm just saying in general. There used to be match of the round. They used to get 60,000 on a normal suburban, on a normal weekend, during the comp, they used to get 50, 60,000 for match of the round.
Yeah.
Look at rugby union and it's sustained possession. Like, look,
Look, I
like it. I like seeing teams just attack, and then teams defend.
I'm with you.
Did you see the blue and white wall on the weekend? Like, I've seen it in a lot of other games where they've just defended but kept putting hits on.
Shut them down.
And impenetrable.
But there's still a problem, right? I do think that 6 agains are ruining the game because it's implemented too quickly. There wasn't proper research done on how it would impact the game, and it wasn't brought in. It wasn't brought in slowly. It was like bang. We got
I knew it was going to be an. You're right. I don't disagree, but I did say it wasn't going to be an overnight success, and unfortunately, we all thought, probably that NRL didn't. You should have been more vociferous, give us a bit of time.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know what? Like, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but rugby league started becoming monotone. 1 outs, 5th tackle on the 6, kick it. The other team's got the ball. The other team does the same thing. 1 outs, 5 tackles, kick on the 6, and vice versa. So it was rinse and repeat. I'm actually glad seeing a sustained period of defense and a sustained period of attack. Just something, the teams are getting 30 tackles on the line, and you're actually starting to see more plays on, or the ball being thrown out more unders, or just little short passes.
No, I'm with you, but I don't think that could be attributed specifically or even directly to the 6 again. Rob Ramsey makes a good point. He says limit 6 agains to 2 in a row, then a penalty. I think it's a great idea.
A sustained possession is not why the attacks, more variety in the attack, you don't think? You got to think about it. You're having unlimited tackles. Let's say unlimited, but sustained tackles. like lots of tackles, you're willing to try more things now.
But it opens up it
Just my 2 cents.
No, I'm with you. It causes fatigue, but I think the flow-on effect is referees are unable to keep up with the speed of the game, right? That's the first thing, and I think players are getting injured far more too often. That's why I think I'm not saying get rid of the 6 again. I'm saying that it needs to be fine-tuned.
I think
that's what I think.
I think injuries are all. You'll never eliminate injuries from the game.
No, and not in a contact sport like rugby league, but there are contributing factors, and I think that 6 agains are one of them. That's what I think.
I honestly think, and look, it takes a bit of time, but they're cleaning up. They've already outlawed shoulder charges, and they're cleaning up the high shots more and more. So, I think give it a few more years, maybe 5-10 years, let's say. I'll be fair dinkum, probably 5 to 10 years at least, and we'll almost get high tackles eliminated from the game.
I hope so.
Might see 1 or 2.
And look,
I like it. It's a good product.
What the 6 again has done,
I like this whole sustained position.
The 6 again is pretty much causing the extinction of the age-old prop. You can no longer be a barnstorming prop that plays 2 20-minute stints. You need to be a mobile a prop that has quick footwork, things like that. I just think that as it goes on, right, you'll see less and less papali'is. You'll see less and less,
you mean the papali'is? But
yeah.
Papali'i plays about 60 minutes, doesn't he? He's not playing it now because he's about 34, isn't he?
But that's
he's 300 games.
I mean, in your 30s, that's where the prime is. But I just don't. I think we're moving away from that. I think we're moving away from that.
Look, it was inevitable that the rugby league forward had to get fitter and faster, and and the back had to get bigger and stronger.
Yeah, I think they're becoming a bit of a homogenous. The typical footy player is becoming more homogenous, so the winger will look very similar to the to the second row and things like that.
The hooker's going back to a throwback, what it used to be: short, stocky, nuggety. That's how hookers used to be.
Yeah, you're right.
If you look at Reid Marnie and what's the Penrith hooker's name?
Mitch Kenny.
And then you got Tyrone Smoothie, for example.
You've got the Brayley brothers as well. Damien Cook.
Yeah, you're getting back towards that sort of.
You have a lot of experience with the hookers, huh?
I used to play hooker myself when I was growing up, so.
Sorry, it just presented itself. That's what she said. Anyway, we've got 55 people watching, and I just want to give you a quick message. Guys,
Can I ask, what do you guys think about this whole, you're getting more attack and more, from one side and more defense from one side in a sustained period, like consistently, not just 6 tackles. We're talking probably 30 tackles here, 20 tackles there. Like, do you like it? I love it. I love seeing sides trying to put all these players on. And then on the other side, some teams hold you out for 20, 30, 40 tackles. And in that set, they're absolutely pulverizing the team trying to attack. It becomes like an impenetrable wall. They're adapting. I love it. I don't know. Give me your take, guys, but...
How about we put up a poll about whether people like the 6 again or not? Now, quickly, just want to mention, recently we crossed the 1,000 subscriber mark, and as you know, running a podcast, running a studio, things like that, very, very expensive. So what we have done is we've opened up the kennel memberships. So for the cost of a coffee, or just a little bit more than a coffee a month, what you can do is you can actually support the podcast, and it comes with some perks. So essentially what you can do is if you become a member on the channel, we've got some really exciting guests coming on in the next month. We've got some current players, we've got some former players, we've got some really special guests coming on that aren't players but are also in the NRL. And for that, for $6.99, what we essentially will give you is access to actually ask some of these players, some of these guests questions. Also, if you're a member, what you will have is a little Bulldogs icon next to your name. We'll be uploading emojis that you can use in the chat, and sort of just little perks like that really just add a little bit more on top to your experience being live with us. But what it really does is it just helps us fund the podcast. We don't make any money at all. In fact, it costs us quite a bit to run, and I don't think we ever will make any money, and we refuse to take any gambling, alcohol, any of that type of sponsorship. And so what we ask is, if you can, and I know, cost of living is expensive, but if you can afford it, just for $6.99 a month, you can support the podcast. If not, we still love you. We love all your support. We love the banter. We love the engagement, and we really thank you for being here today. Now, we've got to talk about the Dragons and the Bulldogs and what the Dragons were able to do over the weekend.
Or when they played Melbourne.
Yeah, so I want you to tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about how you think the win. Just quickly, sorry, the membership link is it's at the top of the chat, so it is linked just above the poll, and you can just click on that link and sign up to become a member. Thank you very much, guys.
Just on the weekend, so I think just show how wrong we were. I think we both tipped Dogs by plenty. It was a close game. I still think the Dogs were the deserved winners of that game. The Dragons, I think they were at $7. The odds, I know I don't gamble or anything, but we are kind of like asked the question on the podcast, like, is it gambling if it's certain? Only for the Dragons to turn around.
Nothing's ever certain in rugby league, bro.
Exactly. Only for the Dragons to turn around and, beat Melbourne at that. I think they pretty much did
Melbourne
25 years of waiting. Defense was solid. Probably the best they've defended. Look, to be honest, it was the best they defended all year, I thought.
They played for 80 minutes.
Yeah, look, Melbourne were probably a bit rusty with Munster was obviously, he had some good touches, but maybe shouldn't have started that game. They made some uncharacteristic mistakes. And to St George's credit, I think they had 1 or 2 tries disallowed. So that was one of the best St George have played all year. Kyle Flanagan, I actually got into a biff on social media. I don't know if it was his mum or his aunt or something like that. I seem to be biffing with the Flanagans on social media. And I didn't say anything derogatory about Kyle or anything. I just said, I just had a go at his father for always opening up to the media about what his next intentions are. And I thought, look, he's got to stop that. Because every time he opens up to the media, the other clubs get the jump on who he wants to sign, what he wants to do, and he's left with crumbs. And then I said, look, he dropped Tyrell Sloan for his defence. While he's at it, why doesn't he drop his son? Because honestly, his son in attack, I would say, hasn't been anything special. His defence has been decent. Nothing, his effort's there every week. He's probably the hardest trying player of the Dragons. But yeah, his family didn't take well to it. They gave me a whole stats on defence and all that. But that, it was more like the attack because the Dragons need a spark in attack. They can't defend for their life. We know that.
Yeah.
So they got to pile on the points to try to score. I got a defensive stat from the family, and lo and behold, on the weekend, he was one of the Dragons' best in terms of defense. He made that key play. He made a few crucial tackles that forced errors, and then the one with Harry Grant with about a minute to go. So,
the play where that was a 50-50, I thought, but I was happy that they didn't give it to Melbourne.
I'm going to still stick by my guns and say there's better halves options than him at the club, and I'm being fair dinkum. His father was fair dinkum. His son wouldn't be starting in the 6. I'm going to stick by my guns and say Jesse Marschke's a way better option. Jesse Marschke defends well. He's a brilliant attacker. Unfortunately, he's had hamstring injuries at the wrong time of the season. And then there's another one that St George got from Canterbury, John Glover. I think would do a fantastic role. Anyway, just my 2 cents. Look, they got him there. He's doing his job. I'll still support his son, always. I just think he should be in the 14, to be honest.
I think he would do a great 14. But look,
and he's still starting, so and his father's a great coach. There's one thing there I'm just not agreeing with his father and son, basically. So,
look,
and then back on the weekend, Moses Sully.
What a freak.
Jaden Sewer.
What a freak.
And then Ben Hunt, he turned it around because
pulled his finger out. Yeah.
Against Penrith, you had Cleary and Law, wow. And then you had on one side Ben Hunt. I'm like, he's not even in the same league as them. He's not the level below. He's not the level below that. He's probably about 3 or 4 levels below him. That's how good that Cleary and Law are.
Yeah.
But he turned it around and,
he outplayed Hughes and Munster. And I'll be very honest with, I think he was. Look, he was.
Tyrell Sloan was pleasing to see him back.
Oh, it was amazing. And what's interesting? Apparently, that if Finney wasn't injured, Finney would have stayed at fullback.
Oh, 100%.
Which I think
Did you see how he burnt what's his name? Paper thin Pappenhausen.
Look. Firstly, I want to give a shout out to the TWS channel for becoming a member. I really thank you so much for your support. It means so much to us. Guys, if you do want to become a member on the podcast, the link is there in the chat. It just really helps us out. We got 62 people watching. Welcome everybody that's new. If you're new here, leave a message, leave a comment, engage with us. We love having you all. Thank you so much for joining. We're so excited to have so many people joining today. 62 is our record, so welcome everyone. And again, thank you so much, TWS channel, for becoming a member. I want to say, firstly, the way they performed, I think it was the first game I saw them play 80 minutes against a good team. Usually, what I find with the Melbourne Storm, with the Dragons is when they come up against a good team, they'll play for 40 minutes and then they'll buckle.
Yeah,
right.
Mentally as well.
They played 80 minutes of really intense football, and Melbourne threw everything at them.
And you know what? For once, I'm mentally strong because you've noted in the past before they don't seem to have the mental strength. This time, they all seem to hang in there. Lomax is immense on the wing. It'll be interesting to see where Parramatta uses him next year. They might just use the Flanagan blueprint and keep him on the wing. But yeah, I think I just touched on who was really good for the Dragons. Little's pretty good around the rucks there. I know Cook's coming next year, but
Little's fantastic. I'm a really big fan of Little. And look,
Jack DeBellin had a good game as much as, we don't
he's been very consistent. He's been very. I thought Blake
game.
Laurie did better starting than off the bench.
That was his best game all year.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
It wasn't spectacular, but it was more on the good side.
Yeah.
And it was his best game this year.
Like, you can't criticize. He did what he needed to do.
Yeah, I thought. The Couchman twin that replaced his brother suspended did decent as well.
They have to have both Couchman brothers there.
Yeah, I'm expecting a big year from them both next year because I can see them becoming regulars. Although I thought it should have been this year.
What happened to Fafita? Why hasn't he been getting chosen?
Keeps getting suspended. Loves the suspension, that one.
He's such a good player.
Anyways, I just want to cut you all short. Enough on the Dragons. Let's get to this week's game. Come on.
I'm so G'd, boys. What a game this is going to be.
It's going to be absolute pandemonium this weekend in the crowd. So I'm going to be, I know meant to be in the grandstand, but I'm probably going to make my way to the hill, to be honest.
Bro, I can't stand. I wouldn't want to be sitting on the hill. If you're in the corporate box,
absolutely a party atmosphere. It's going to be electric. You're going to have on one side about 5,000 Canterbury fans plus, and then on the other side about probably 8,000 St George fans, or probably it's 5 and 5.
It's going to be electric.
It's going to be absolutely awesome.
Man.
They're going to be trying to drown each other out with chants.
I almost feel sorry for the ref because he's not going to know who to give the calls to. Because I guarantee there'll be a lot of Doggies fans there, and they're going to be very vociferous. Quickly, if you are here, just give this a like. Please just give us a thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe, share, just because it helps us in the algorithm. Now, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this weekend. Your key, who's the key, who's to watch. On the Canterbury side, then who do you fear on the St George side, and vice versa. So, guys, put in the comments your thoughts as well. Want to read them out as well. Yeah. So Billy's going to put up a poll. Billy's our producer, by the way. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below about who you think will be the standout for the Doggies and what you think the score will be. So just start leaving those comments as I sort of give my thoughts on the game. So here's the first thing. I'm going to start with something very controversial. I need to see more from the Fox. I thought he ran for under 100. I know it's his first game back.
Thank you.
No. I know it's his first game back.
Channel E, love ya.
Thank you, Channel E, for the super chat. Thank you so much. He says great comments earlier about respect for all fans. Look, I think it's really common sense. Unfortunately, it's not that common.
Canterbury fans are one of the best behaved in the NRL. I'll debate anyone. I'll debate Souths fans. Who remembers at Kogarah Oval, the racist chants that were directed at Latrell and Cody Walker? And then and everyone thought it was from St George fans, only for what? Lo and behold, it was from South's own fans.
Yeah, that's right.
On its own players.
Which is pathetic. But here's the thing. I want to see a little bit more from Fox in running meters. So Wilson was averaging about 200 meters before he was dropped. Skelton played 2-3 games, averaging about 260 meters in first grade. He was averaging that much in New South Wales Cup as well. And so I think we need to see a little bit more. And to be honest, I thought that it showed that we were missing that back that could do run a little bit more. Sherry did well to step up and cover, but I do want to see a little bit more oh my God, the TWS channel, after becoming a member, gives us a $20 super chat. Bro, you are a legend. You are an absolute legend. It means so much to us, bro. Oh my God. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, TWS.
You're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Anyways.
I forgot what I was saying.
Dude.
I completely forgot what I was saying.
Can we talk footy, dude?
Oh, dude. Bulldogs grand final. Congrats on the 60 live viewers. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much, man.
So we got a poll that's gone up. You know what, guys? I want you to be biased on this one. If you're Doggies at heart and on sleeve, you go Doggies. Saints fans, Sammy Huss, if you're still in here, back me up, mate. We're probably the only two that are going to probably go St George. Let's
be loud. Let's cheer. And look, man, I want to hear from the Dragons fans as well. What they think. look, B Massive mentions that our edges will score all our points. I absolutely agree that it will be our edges that score all our points, and I actually think that one thing that we will be doing is we'll be burning you guys on the edges. I thought that the Raiders took a lot of
they got speedy players.
They got heaps of speedy players. They got Savage. They got Weeks. They've got Sebastian Chris. They've got who's there? Timoko, who I think is Jamie Teasdale. Zatar, oh my God.
Hey, that Underhill in the reserves, that's the blonde head, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the blonde head guy. He's
I was watching him closely. You got another Polynesian forward in the reserves? I thought he's...
that was Daniel Saluka Fafita. He came back.
No, there was another one I thought that was slim and tall.
No, that was Daniel Saluka. I'm pretty sure it's Daniel Saluka Fafita.
Isn't he more nuggety than that?
Nah, he's actually quite tall. He's quite tall.
Hey, your fullback, Josh Papali, he goes really good.
Bro, he's one of those absolute...
you know what? If he's got a high work rate.
He's got a massive work rate as well. So, I mean, we're set. Once Connor Tracy retires, we've got Josh Papali'i.
Thanks, Johnny. Now I'm actually more worried about, if Berto and Kuraz played sick. I'm actually now even more worried, when they play this week not being sick.
Neo, you legend. I want to give all you guys a hug. It means so much to us. I honestly, Dibbo, just... Anyway, I need to get back to the game because it's so exciting. I think that Sexton is going to blow them off the park. I thought the first time we versed you guys, Sexton really showed his class, and I think that's where it's going to be one for us. Burton and Sexton, their combination is really starting to click, and I think that with Fox getting another game and Critter back there sort of performing, I think we'll be able to hold out your props a little bit more. And you have some inexperience on the edges. I think that's where we can really get you guys. I don't think we'll be too successful against Lomax, but on the side where Christian Tuapolotu and Fine are playing, right, I think we can definitely do some damage there. That's where I think we can do a lot of damage. Mothman, $2, mate. You guys are absolutely amazing.
Thanks, Mothman.
Awoken's mentioned go through the team list. Oh, bro, I'm sorry. Let's do the team list right now.
I'm dying to talk about the worries I got. Coming from a Dragons perspective.
I'm going to say about where I worry. This is where I'm going to say.
Yeah, but this is Elmo's time, and I got a feeling he'll be talking for the next 15
minutes.
No,
I promise. I'll be quick.
No, take your time. So I got to wait here for my turn.
So the
dude, love you, man.
Dude, you absolute legend.
Who is dude? Like, hey, dude, where's my car? Like, anyways.
Dude, you're absolute. You're the dude. You're it, dude.
Dude, love.
Big dude love. Big man crush on everyone. Thank you so much.
So Mick Foley.
I think our defense, you guys won't score more than 18 points. If you get there.
Yeah, I just want to hear. So you're going through Sexton, and then you were talking about the fringes, and then keep going. Yep.
I think the other one that's going to burn you guys on the edges is going to be absolutely Kickout. I don't think you guys defend very well. Your second row, Sua's good, but I think he's suspect in defense.
We don't have imposing fringe second rowers at all.
No, I think that in attack they're decent, but in like if you look at Luciano Leilua, Raymond Faitala Mariner, and Jaden Sua are excellent in attack. I think that they have the capacity to buckle in defense, and I think if we can give early ball to the likes of kick out, if we can give early ball to Preston and Tracy can sweep around with his speed, I just don't think they have I don't think the Dragons have enough, not just speed, but I think defensive capability to hold us out.
Jamie Teasdale, Sexton versus Kyle is going
to be really good.
I don't know if he's
Former taking, 7 for first.
I don't know if he's taking the
7.
piss, but yeah. Oh man, thanks for stepping us by mentioning Kyle Flanagan.
We just had 69 people watching. Nice. I think that Connor Tracy is going to be man of the match. I think he's going to set up a few tries. He burnt you guys in the last game, and I think he's going to do it again. That's who I think our danger man will be.
Yep. Do you see any worries coming from the Dragons' end, or?
I do. So where I think we need to be very, very careful is you guys have a big forward pack. If you guys play for 80 minutes, you can do to us what
not
Canberra
a mobile one though.
But you can play for 80 minutes.
They're perpetual motions.
Right? If you guys play for 80 minutes, there is a fear that you guys can get across the line. I feel Lomax could burn us on the wing. I think one of the problems that Fox has is the high ball, and if they target Fox with the high ball. It could be that's the area.
That's honestly unfair on the Fox. But
No.
anyway.
That's where I think the Dragons can absolutely outdo
I'm going to start
us.
calling you Freddie Fittler, but anyway.
No.
Remember that.
I think that's where it is. The Lomax, like the high ball to Lomax is where I think you guys. I think that's your best bet at beating us. That's what that. I know that sounds rough, but I think that's your best bet at beating us. And little potentially darting out a dummy half when our forwards aren't ready at marker is the other option. But that's where I think it works. That's where I think you guys can beat us, and that's really only where I think you can beat us, in my honest opinion.
All right, and then what are you tipping Canterbury by?
Look, if it
Give
wasn't,
me your biased and then unbiased.
all right. If it wasn't, no, I'll do this. How about this? If it wasn't sudden, right? I would say.
Stop reminding me.
I would say 34-16.
Ooh.
But because it's sudden,
Yeah.
I'm going to say 26-14.
Oh, not bad.
I'm going to say 26-14. Man of the match, Connor Tracy.
All right.
Your turn.
Now, St. George's key. So I'm just going to talk about St. George. I think the only way, look, Canterbury got their back line. You look at it, they got Connor Tracy. And then on the fringes, they got Crichton. You know, he's the best defensive centre in the game. And then with Crichton, you got Kiraz. You know, he's an absolute machine. And then on the, and he's the energizer. And then on the other side, you got Sherry and Fox. Speedy backline. St. George, if you look at their backline, they got Matt Finney or Max Finney or whatever. You know, is it Max?
So the team list.
Yeah, it's Max Finney. It's the bulkier one. And then you got Lomax. Slow.
Well, actually, it's Christian Tuapolotu on the wing.
Yeah, all right. With who? With
Max Finney. And then on the other side, it's Zach Lomax and Moses Sully.
Yeah, all right. You know, like all very imposing backliners and big boys, but lacking pace. The only speedy back St. George got in that back five is Sloan, and he has defensive deficiencies. I think the only way St. George can try to win this game is defend for their lives on the fringes, but they must try to outplay your forwards up the middle. That's the only way. If their forwards have their game of their life on the weekend and outplay your forwards, and the fringe, somehow Canterbury have an off game, because I can tell you now, if somebody from the Canterbury backline gets through, and those backline of St. George are very slow. By the time they turn around, whooshka, it's gone, it's 2-on-1. It'll be whoever is the two outside backs versus Sloan. Right? So that's the only way I see St. George, having a chance to beat you guys. They got to really go up the middle and try to batter your forwards and hope your forwards just don't turn up. Danger men's for Canterbury. I discussed it earlier. I was watching Connor Tracy come around the back.
Yeah.
And he hits the line hard. Pings his ears back. They got to watch him. Another one, kick out. He can be a damaging runner.
Yeah,
and if he beats the first, second, third, all it takes is an offload or a pass the outside back, and it's see you later. He's a very damaging runner. Another one I need them to keep an eye on is, Reid Marnie. He goes about his work quietly sometimes, but he can actually dart from dummy half when he wants to. If you throw him back to the Parramatta 2 years ago, do you remember him from dummy half? He'd take those darts and kick those 40-20s.
Yeah.
Now, he's flying under the radar at the moment. But another one I'm worried about. And then, obviously, the Canterbury backline, they got absolute speed to burn. If Canterbury's like, the war's like almost, it's like impenetrable, like, Asgard.
Yes.
It's just like Thor and it's try to get through. Like Canberra had to score some sensational tries on the weekend to score. So St. George's only chance is up the middle. That's the only way.
I actually don't think...
That's the only way.
The Bulldogs don't break up the middle.
That's the only chance. They will not break his out wide. They got to try beat your forwards up the middle because... And then, they got some big bodies, the Dragons out wide, but the only way they're going to be able to get you is close to the line because turn-up speed from Canterbury is phenomenal. It's a hard game. It's going to be hard for the Dragons. They cannot afford an off game. They're really up against it. The keys for the Dragons, Ben Hunt has to have the game of his life.
Yeah.
Maybe Sully and Sua out wide. Sloan, he's got to have something phenomenal in attack. But again, it's very hard against that defence. I've been watching the Canterbury defence, and for struggling sides, I reckon that's the blueprint going for the next few years. They need to try to implement what Serraldo's done with Canterbury. Line speed, scrambling defence. Because, you know what? Canterbury's attack hasn't been bad. It's been good, but not great. You know, they've still scored more points than St George, right? They're about the same. But why are they in the 8?
Their defense.
Defense. And I'll tell you now, I still reckon if they get their rotation right, they should have won a lot more games. By far more.
Yeah, by far more.
You know, the blueprint starts from where? The defense. If West Tigers, they're going to try and implement the Canterbury blueprint, it is going to be a hard one for St George on the weekend. Honestly, like, they are really up against it.
So do you think that they will have the mental tenacity against the Bulldogs that they had against the Storm? Was it a one-off, or do you think they can, even if they don't win? Do you think they can show enough?
I'll tell you what happened.
And by the way, quick shout out, Dogman Adventures, first super chat, $2.99. Thank you, Mothman, another $2, man. We really appreciate everything, you guys. Thank you so much. Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough. I just hope that you enjoy our content and that we continue to put out every single week.
Yep. Just on the weekend. Just on the Melbourne game, it wasn't a hostile atmosphere down there. Like, most of those fans, there was some empty seats. I don't know what was there, 20,000 at the game, or 18,000,
something like that. Yeah.
But it didn't feel like it was a hostile crowd. Kogarah on Saturday night, 7 p.m., 20,500 fans. It is going to be imposing. The first 20 minutes, whoever breaks, if Dragons don't break in 20 minutes,
they're on. They'll
have a chance. But if they're broken in 20 minutes, then, yeah, we're looking at what you predicted earlier, 3 or 4 try gap. It's the 20 minutes. See, what happened against Melbourne, they hung in there. You know, and Melbourne, I don't know, I
thought they played horribly, though. To be honest,
I'm not disagreeing.
Melbourne didn't play very well.
They weren't hostile. The fans, there wasn't a hostile atmosphere to the Dragons. Like, Melbourne, I don't know, they didn't bring the, whatever you want to say, the intensity to the Dragons. Dragons just hung in there, and then went in at halftime ahead.
I think, like, and just if you have joined us, if you're new here, please just give this a thumbs up. It really helps us get up in the algorithm. Thank you so much, guys.
For the Dragons, their forwards are their key. Because out wide, we can't burn you from our own half. It's only close to the line, maybe a barge and crash over. Maybe your backs might have an off game. Like, we're just hoping.
Guarantee you, if they try and play up the middle, if the Dragons try and play the Bulldogs up the middle, they will lose and lose well.
I think you know what?
And you know what? I'm sure the Dragons know that. If they try and play us up the middle,
I don't think so.
They will lose.
You don't have a big forward pack.
But we've come up against much bigger forward packs, and we've been able to handle.
But that's where, and I've watched a lot of games. That's where teams have gone wrong. They haven't tried to bash you up the middle.
They have. No, the Sharks tried. The Sharks tried, and they almost succeeded. A lot of
it's gone out to the fringes. And you know what? When it comes to the fringes, I don't think anyone's better than Canterbury
in defense
at all. Even in attack, you guys slice them open, and then it was on the weekend. It really pissed me off. I think Sherry made the break and then ignored Connor Tracy on the inside.
I mean, that was a bomb try. The critter one
out wide. I think you guys are the best. Look, I can't see us. I don't think we got any chance out wide unless it's close to the line. Maybe a barge over if they can try. It is hard.
I think if they give Sawley early ball, I think. But he's coming up against Crichton.
That's what I mean. And I watched them the last game and. Where they played it, and they're both imposing figures on the field. I hadn't seen Crichton in person, actually. First time I've seen him. I didn't realise it was that big.
How big is he? Seen him at Belmore.
Yeah, he's tall, and he's actually big.
He's almost bigger than Curran.
And I don't think there's barely an ounce of fat on his body, if there is.
He's very lean. Dissident mentions that Dragons are in a win-lose-win holding pattern, and Saturday is scheduled for a loss. That's a
good observation. I was actually looking at the form guide. I think last 5 Canterbury's gone 2 wins, a loss, which they should have won.
Yes.
And then 2 wins again, where St George is loss, win, loss, win. And I think it goes back further than that.
It does. I think you've only won back-to-back once the whole year.
And then I saw the odds, and I totally agree on the weekend. Canterbury are deserved favourites.
I think it's fair. I don't like it when we're favourites, though, because I think... But look, we were strong favourites against Raiders, and we won, which I think is good. Mothman's made a very funny comment. Sutton to ref both teams so poorly that it goes full circle and becomes fair. That is the call of the week, I have to say. That is a great call.
That will ruin momentum for both sides.
It will.
I rather he just put the whistle away and no teams offend in that, and they just cancel him out of the game.
Jamie Teasdale's mentioning Dogs will be frustration on the Dragons' attack. Look, I actually think that the Dragons will struggle to get any rhythm in attack because the Bulldogs will defend very well. But you know what the other thing is that goes missing? or isn't mentioned enough about the Bulldogs defense is their pressure on the kicker. So
Line speed.
So not just line speed, but the pressure on the kicker himself. How many charge downs? We've got the most charge downs in the league. We've got the most attempted charge downs in the league. And what that does is it just takes away so much time from the kicker. Against the Broncos, bro, we killed Adam Reynolds.
Yeah.
We killed Adam Reynolds. Right? And you looked at, you saw the 40-20 that Reece Walsh kicked. It's because he kicked from inside his 20 when no one was expecting it. Or he's 30, right? So that I think is going to frustrate Ben Hunt incredibly, and Flanagan will not be able to salvage it. I just don't think that Flanagan is the type of player that can take over if Hunt is... Because we saw against Penrith...
You can't take to the line. He runs sideways. And it's something that really irked me, how he runs sideways. You know,
it's worked with him earlier in the year, and he sort of kept trying down that vein.
He doesn't straighten the attack. Yeah, we're really up against it this weekend. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for out wide. It's just got to try their best up the middle.
I'm telling you, it's the low max high ball. I'm telling you, it's the low max high ball. That's the way you guys want to win.
But they got to try play it up the middle. They got to try negate, even in Canberra, in attack up the middle. Why should St. George let them walk over them? You got to try play it up the middle, and then just hope you can.
I actually think we might see a debutant this week for the Bulldogs.
Who is that?
Underhill.
You reckon he's going to play? Is he named in the 22?
Yeah, he is.
Or 21? What is it? 22?
Yeah, so actually, let's go quickly through the teams. So the Bulldogs are 1-17 as per last week.
So who would come out?
So Jarrell Skelton is 19. Jack Underhill's 20. I assume that maybe because he hasn't played Lipoy Hopboy, he might drop Lipoy Hopboy and give Jack Underhill a shot.
I thought Harry Hayes did a good...
Harry Hayes was great.
I think we've mistaken him a few times for Sam Hughes.
Yeah, we did.
I didn't realise it was that big.
Do you know he actually started as a winger centre?
Oh, yeah. So
and he's just such a big boy with a big motor, and they just put him in the foot. So I think, I don't know, honestly, I have no inside information about this.
I like that. If you can go another big forward on the bench.
I think Jack Underhill
gets game time.
I think he might get a run.
Just over, you want to bash St. George up the middle. That's how you get them back as well.
I think what we'll do is...
Because if you bash them up the middle... I'll tell you now, your backs was just
we're gonna frustrate them with our defense, and then in the second half we're gonna run away with it again. It's not gonna be as big a score, but I think it will be a Bulldogs win. How comfortably, how uncomfortably, I don't know. We did be massive. We did win the first game 44-16, which is, was a great game, great win. Neo, in my opinion, I think the Bulldogs attack was weak against the Raiders, plus the conversions and really messing us up.
I don't blame the conversions, but Neo, I don't think your attack was weak.
I think we butchered three tries.
Canberra played out of their skins as well, don't forget.
I think Canberra had their best game of the season.
No one's giving them credit, but they actually played well.
Especially for Papali'i's 300.
We were tipping Canterbury by 30. And Canberra actually defended really well.
But I also want to, so we bombed 3 tries. There was a kick-out try. There was the Sherry break where he didn't pass to Tracy.
You remind me of the kick-out try. That was silly.
And there was one more try that I forgot, but we bombed. I don't remember which one that was. But, someone mentioned here, Lakeside mentions that Sherry could not pass to Tracy with the player in between. Great read from Sherry.
I've got to watch that again, but I thought that...
Watching it live, there was definitely space. And watching it again, there was definitely space for him to pass that ball to Tracy. He could have even maybe put in a grubber, and Tracy could have made the run. Anyway,
I just thought you guys, you won by 4, but it felt like you should have won by 14 or something.
Yeah, I think we were on top. I never really felt like we were at.
You were cruising till that late try as well.
Well, you mean the bullshit call where Klein said that Tracy knocked it on when he actually knocked it back?
That gave him a leg up.
Bro, that was ridiculous.
You know what?
That was ridiculous.
I'm actually glad it's not Klein this weekend, as much as how horrible Sutton is. But I can't hack.
Look, I thought
can't hack Klein.
Sutton was good for us against the Sharks, and he was shit for us against the Cowboys. So it's like you never know what you're going to get from him.
They gave us the worst. So it was either Klein or Sutton, so they still dealt us the worst card.
Yeah, 100%.
Couldn't we get Adam G or some other no-name or something?
Anyway, we've got 65 people watching again, so please, if you are new, please be sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and as we mentioned before, we do have a membership option. So to support the podcast, $6.99 a month helps pay for the studio, pay for us to produce the content, and to just continue to bring stuff. We don't make any money. We probably never will. It's just to help us keep running the podcast.
Good shout, be massive. With how well Canterbury's been playing. I mean, Preston's kind of like, I wouldn't say the forgotten man, but he's absolute strike weapon out wide. And, you know, I can just see him growing from week to week, and especially next year, you know, if he has a sustained run without injury. It's a good shout. I mean, there's a lot of there from my perspective. I actually view the whole Canterbury side almost as a threat. Like, it is actually worrying me. Like, if I wanted to be a biased guy right now, I'm going to tell you Dragons by 2. But unbiased, I don't even want to tell you what I'm thinking.
No, be honest. What do you think?
It's going to be a tough one. Like, if you look at it, I know there's only 2 points separating them, but I think Canterbury have been far and away much better than St George this year. It feels like they're 10 points better than St George on terms of the table. I want to be fair dinkum, I'd probably go 28-12 scoreline unbiased in favour of Canterbury. But there, I gave you my bias, and it's going to be a close game to us Dragons.
I think, I'm
being fair dinkum here. Like, honestly, unbiased.
Because
your defence is, honestly, it's virtually impenetrable. It's hard. I can't see where St George is going to get more than, say, for example, 2 or 3 tries. Like, I even just said 3 tries. You get me?
Yeah.
It is hard. Where is St George? And then St George's defence is not crash hot whatsoever. I know they only allowed 3 tries against Melbourne, but Melbourne had
I don't think they threw.
Game.
They didn't throw too much up.
You know, like, it's hard. Like, and that was probably Dragons' best defensive effort of the year, but nothing special, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping. I just gave his Dragons blueprint. Try to bash us up the middle because it's not going to happen out wide.
And look, Bay Massive just said Dragons have had an easy draw. It's been easy. I think the Sharks still always get the luck of draw for something.
Man, they've literally had the easiest draw for the last
3 years.
Probably about like 15 years. They
always get the luck of the draw.
Literally every year I've known them to have an easy draw.
But that's where I think it is. Look, there's going to be some very interesting games as well, just sort of to round out the discussion. So my call, I think the Bulldogs are going to win 26-14.
No, that was the unbiased part. Go the biased part.
No. 34-12. I think
that's. I'm actually tipping. What did I say? 28-12 or something.
I don't see the Dragons being able to score too many points. That's genuinely.
That's where are their tries going to come from against that defense?
And I don't mean to be a prick about it. Honestly, I don't mean to be a prick about it.
Canterbury have an absolute off game, and where have we seen that this year? Yeah. Besides the first round, where have we seen
first 2 rounds? And against the Roosters in Gosford. That wasn't even.
It's like he's even got blown off the par. He's just.
We still haven't had. No one scored more than.
Should have been a closer game that day.
No one scored more than 28, or is it 26? No one scored more than 28 points against us.
You guys should have had a better game that day, but you know. Anyways, it's hard. It's hard. You know, scoring points against Canterbury. Dragons defense. I mean, how are they going to keep the points? I know Canterbury's got. It's not a bad. It's a decent attack still. They should be scoring more points.
And we're averaging 21 points a game.
And they should have been scoring more points. I'm just giving you how you guys should be better.
So we average 21 points a game, and we allow 16 points in.
And he's know how to win. And when I mean win, he's know how to grind a close win, and he's know how to carry on and win pretty comfortably as well, something the Dragons don't know how to do.
And look at the team stats. You know, we've beat you the last 2 times.
You guys got a better record than us at Kogarah.
So, you know, you guys only score an average of 20 points a game.
Yeah, we
score 21.
Yeah, he's better than us overall.
You guys concede on average 25.
Horrible.
We concede only 16.
Yeah, it's Dragons' defense is horrible.
Statistically, I feel like...
Jeez, I thought the defense was more like minus, conceding 30 plus a game.
25 is pretty bad.
It is bad.
I think
just to show how bad it is, it feels like it's been more.
But you guys have better tackle efficiency and completion rate.
But Canterbury have absolutely shown that stat.
It means
in terms of how they play is irrelevant. A lot of the missed tackles from Canterbury is the rush up defense, and then the players avoid him by going and smack bang into someone else. You know, so that Canterbury player, although he's probably been brushed off, he's forced the player smack bang swallowed up into someone else. So
do you think that Flanagan on game day will start Hame Sele and Blake Laurie again?
No, because no.
Do you think
he can't afford to lose, especially in an electric? It's a different scenario now. He can't afford to lose the battleground early. He needs all guns blazing. I think. Look, he could probably start Laurie maybe and the Bellin. Maybe keep Molo on the bench instead. But Sele, I find Sele. I don't know. Does he better starting off the bench? I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting one. We're not a. I don't know how Bellamy was talking up our forward pack on the weekend. I thought he was probably just shamming us all, but
No, your forwards played well.
we're not a big forward pack. Where do you get big forward pack from?
Rob Ramsey said Dragons have had 40 plus put on them 4 or 5 times. Dogs haven't had more than 26 points scored against them. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, the Dragons have had a lot of blowout scores against them this year. If it's over by halftime, it is definitely over. They don't even try to do anything in their second half.
Very quickly, just vote in the poll to what you think the score will be. Maurice, good to see you, brother. He says Dogs will take this one. Small margin though, 4 to 8 points. Don't disagree with that.
He's being polite. Thanks, Maurice.
Don't. I mean, I think it may be a little bit more only because we're going to hold them to such a low score. Jamie Teasdale.
Thanks, Jamie. I'll take that 14
Dragons
points.
to be held to 14 at most. And then 10 penalties each way. Look, I actually think.
Jeez, no, I don't want to see that many.
I reckon Sutton will do it.
Oh, look, maybe 6 penalties to 4. Let's say one side gets 6, the other gets 4.
No, I don't.
I
no
honestly
way.
don't want to see more than
15 penalties altogether.
no more than 10. Why would I want to see? It's too many.
Bro, it's Sutton. The guy blows the whistle for a living. It's like he's anyway. So Lakeside actually mentions something really interesting. He says, I still struggle to be confident after the last few years' old habits. Honestly, I am 100% confident in the team, and I think we need to start expecting wins and expecting good performances from the team. They have earned that trust.
Honestly, Lakeside, I reckon you guys have turned the corner.
Yeah, 100%.
The last 5 years you guys had, I wouldn't even go back there. The way this team's playing, were they sitting 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deservedly so. I'm just surprised a lot of those sides are either 2 points or equal points, and they're actually way better than all the sides below them. It's unfair on the Canterbury side that those sides are close to them or equal points with them. They've actually been far and away much better than those 3 or 4 sides beneath them.
Look, I want to agree with you, but I also think that it took us time to build into it. Now, I just want to quickly mention Rob Ramsey. Actually, it wasn't Rob Ramsey. It was... Lakeside has said, I think CC comes out with a game plan to beat the Dragons. He's a student of the game. I actually agree. I think he'll do something similar to what we did to the Broncos and come out with a really specific game plan.
Is that a Channel 9? I just want to know, is that a Channel 9 game?
No, it's not. It's a KO game.
I'll tell you who will be at the game on Saturday, and I'll be surprised if he won't be.
Who's that?
Phil Gould.
Yeah, I think he will.
Because he only lives down the road from
that's
there.
right.
Down the Princess Island to Oyster Bay. I'm sure, the St. George faithful there will be happy to have him, one of the boxes and that. And maybe hopefully you can get him out amongst the fans and all that. I'd love to see him there, to be honest.
B Massive has said he will put a Bulldog in the bin 100%. I think we'll see maybe 1 or 2 sin bins from both.
Hey, B Massive, I'll take all the help I can get.
Yeah. So Mood FM has mentioned that Dragons should make a play for Brimson.
Your bloody oath.
What do you reckon?
But I think he's signed to Gold Coast for 5-6 years.
Oh, actually, this game is also on Channel 9.
Thank you. I am so glad. So hopefully we get, we'll have Slater, Sonny, Cam Smith.
I'm hoping we have Cam Smith, yeah. Maybe not Andrew Johns, but,
No, I'll take Joey there. He's good entertainment.
Yeah, it is a Channel 9. I'd
love to have all
Saturday,
the stars
7:30, Channel 9 game.
And hopefully all the Fox Sports crews there.
Oh, mate, let me tell you, Channel 9 is very smart.
Not the jobs for mates, guys, but I'd love
Channel
to
Channel 9 is very, very smart.
They'll have Gordon Tallis there. He's a former Dragon. And, Cooper Cronk. Thanks, Mothman.
Oh,
really.
You champion.
Bulldogs, you know what, Mothman? I'll pay you $10 to take that off.
Holden Forever's mentioned, if we win our next 3 games, we 100% make the finals. I won't be happy until that happens. I'll get my hopes up if we finish top 4. We actually only need to win 2 more games to make the top 4. Statistically, history suggests that 32 points will get you into the top 8. And 36 or 38 points will get you into the top 4. So we could potentially make the top 4.
I think even let's say, how many games left? 5 rounds?
Yeah, 5 rounds.
Even if you win 4 out of 5, I think it should still be enough to get, But you don't even have a hard run. So it's even with that taking that game away, the Dolphins game, I think he's just got them all that should be wins. You should be starting favourites in every single game you're playing.
I think look, the teams around us like Manly and Cowboys also have a lot to play for, as do the Dragons. Now, I just want to end the podcast today on a very interesting question.
I was just going to give a shout out to one of our fans. He's in Croatia at the moment. and he took time out to abuse me online for daring to suggest the Dragons take their home game from Kogarah to Allianz, because I had everyone else in my thoughts that I didn't want to miss out. But Aggro the Dragon, I know you'll be watching this, mate. Salute. You're missing the biggest game of the year, and I heard you didn't give the tickets to your son. You gave them to your brother-in-law. So, Aggro, miss you, mate, and, yeah, I'll see you when you get back. Sorry to interrupt there.
No, all good.
I just had to, give Aggro
Maybe
a
we'll
shout
bring
out.
Aggro on the podcast soon.
Oh, please, keep your eye. I'll tell a story about him one day, but anyway.
Couple of things. Holden Forever, thank you so much for mentioning. It is going to be Sean Johnson's last game when we play them in New Zealand. All right? It'll be Sean Johnson's last game because he did announce he's retiring.
Oh, and then the last two games are away?
Yeah, their last two games are away.
That draw? Fair dinkum.
I mean, look,
Give
they
them
did
to round 27 at home.
They didn't know that Sean Johnson was retiring, but I just want to say Sean Johnson retiring.
One of the greats.
One of the greats. I love Sean Johnson. It's almost an end of an era where those sort of late 2000s players are now starting to retire. I think DCE's maybe the last one, him and Foreign, and they're all retiring. So, big props to Sean Johnson. He's been, an absolute...
I think Papali is the oldest continuing player, isn't he? Josh Papali. Isn't he 2009 or something?
Yeah, he's one of them. Like, he's that era...
DC, I think, is 2011. Yeah, the same year as Sean Johnson, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Look... I want to ask.
I think Jack DeBellin's the oldest in the comp. I think he's 2009.
Pretty sure DC is older than him.
No, I'm saying in terms of debut. He debuted before
yeah.
DCA. He was there under Wayne Bennett, to be honest.
I want to ask you a question, Dib, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Yep.
Do you think the Bulldogs can make the grand final?
You know what? After the Dragons beat Melbourne on the weekend in Melbourne. So, I know it was in Melbourne. Like, give them some sort of credit.
I want you guys to answer. Do you think the Bulldogs can make the grand final?
This is the comment I came
Yes or
out
no?
with.
Just flood the comments with your reactions.
Remembering the Dogs almost beat Melbourne at the stadium. They should have won that game.
Yeah.
I don't know how they lost that game. But then I was like, it's Penrith. Because for a while we were saying Penrith, and I hope Zed, the Melbourne fans watching, for a while we were saying it's Penrith and then Melbourne grand final. But this last 1 or 2 weeks, it's now Penrith and it's a lotto now. They can make the grand final. There's no reason why they can't. I know the finals are another game, but if they're dead set genuine, they know they got to pick up the intensity, and they are dead set equal footing with pretty much everyone else. If they keep the rage, maintain the defense, and, they just got to do what they're doing. Obviously, the intensity is going to be higher. They got to bring the intensity with them and grind out a win. Defense gets them the wins. Whether it's 2 points or 4 points or 1 point with a Birdo drop goal off the crossbar or off the post and in, it's a win. They can make the grand final. I am saying they can. I know a lot of detractors will say they can't, but if you remember the Fox Lab at the start of the year, put Bulldogs, I think 17th.
17th,
I think they had St. George 15th. And lo and behold now, Canterbury's 5th. Are they equal with 4th?
No, so we're 2 points off.
All right, so if they win, they go into the 4th. And Dragons are currently 8th.
Right? And
right?
they had them 16th.
Or 15th or 16th. So the bottom two sides, look at him now. Fuzz Rothfield or whatever his name is.
Fuzz Rothfield.
The guy that looks like Ronald McDonald. He had an article saying, he called the Dragons the reject shop or something, or whatever it is, stuff you. But
He was actually complimenting the Dragons.
No, but he was just saying, and then he pointed out why, because a lot of people say, look at this loser. But all right, for once he backed himself up and said, well, half their team is unwanted players. And he listed who. So Shane Flanagan, I know he's a good coach and everything. Danny Widler came out in the paper and he said there's a bit of spite in this game because St. George's got a fair bit of ex-Canterbury fans. But where it goes back to is the Canterbury job was available. They interviewed Cam Serraldo. Shane Flanagan had applied and then didn't even bother interviewing Shane Flanagan. That's right. Now, last year, that was looking like a big mistake by Canterbury. Yeah. But this year, Canterbury geniuses.
We got the right assistant.
we got the right coach, head coach, everyone was saying, this dumb club, they didn't get Flano, he's a premiership winner, and but good on Canterbury for giving the young blood the chance, because the Warriors did it with Ivan Cleary. He took him to a grand final, went to Penrith. Yeah, it didn't work out at Penrith. He took him to a few finals. I'm not just asking logically from a lottery perspective, but I'm saying this team, the Bulldogs team, can they make the grand final? I just answered that before. Yes, they can.
Based on their own merits. Not luck of the draw.
Not luck of the draw. I've just said it now. It's Penrith now, and the rest is a lotto.
Yeah, but not based on that. I'm saying if Bulldogs faced the Roosters, faced Melbourne.
I'm saying they're on equal footing with everyone else now to make that finals.
So you think it's going to be a Penrith versus X, whoever it is?
Because, they can all beat each other.
Yeah.
The Dogs already beat Roosters once this year.
Yep.
They blew them away in that first half. I don't know what happened in that second half, but let's get past that because they still scored the win. They should have beaten Melbourne in Melbourne. Mm-hmm. They blew Cronulla. Well, didn't blow them off the park, but they beat them the second time. Should have probably won that first game. There was a bad call by the ref. Got in the way.
Couple of bad calls. Gerard Sutton, thank you very much.
Yep. All right. And then if you go down 6, who's even 6 at the moment?
I think
Cowboys?
Manly? Oh, no, these Cowboys.
Cowboys?
The Cowboys, yeah, they're Manly. Then
they should have beaten the Cowboys. Have they already beaten them this year?
No.
Anyway, they should have beaten them at home. I don't know how they lost that game. They're better than Manly. They've already blown St. George off the park. You got the Dolphins beneath them there.
I think Dolphins will fade again.
But are the Dolphins even going to make the finals? That's the next question.
I don't think so.
So yes, they can make the grand final. So I know you've been running the superstition of the fours.
Yes.
So 2024, they can make the grand final. And then they played Penrith at Penrith and only finished 6 points behind.
Yeah.
They can make the grand final. And you know what, Doggies fans? I mean, how long has it been since he's made the finals? 8 years?
Yes, 2016.
Jeez, he's already in the finals. There's nothing to suggest that he will not make the finals, barring a disaster. And honestly, I couldn't. It'd have to be the greatest form reversal in a long time by one club to miss out on the finals.
Yeah. And look, with the energy, with the passion that the fans are showing, with the way that Serraldo's been approaching every single game, there's nothing to suggest that we were just going to drop off unless there's something horrible that happens. I'm going to give you my logic. I think that we can make the grand final, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
If we come 5th, we're versing Cowboys, Manly, Dragons potentially. We're probably versing 8th. I think we will beat 8th. I think we in a finals game. I think we'll beat 8th.
I think he's will beat who's the Cowboys and Manly. I think he's beat all 3 in the finals.
That's what I. That's what I
based
think.
on how he's performed in that, it is unfair to say, and he's just a hater to say they won't win.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. Anyone that knows their footy.
And in the second round,
because I'll tell you what, they also haven't had the luck of the draw this year.
That's right.
And they've been dominant in a lot of games. And it's not like they've had the refs calls or played teams that were weakened and all that. This team actually has got me, especially this weekend. How are the Dragons going to break down Canterbury? I've just said it before. They're gonna have to hope Canterbury has its off game of the year.
Yeah.
And somehow beat them up the middle. It is so hard.
Because I think we can win that first round if we come 5th. If we come 4th, we've always got that second chance.
And you know what?
And
if
then we have to face. We have to face
absolute. Whoever's going to be playing yous,
Melbourne.
Good luck to them because they're going to be in for a torrid time.
Can you imagine the intensity of our defense? So I'm saying this. I'm putting my neck on the line. I think the Bulldogs can make the grand final.
I think they can.
I don't think we're going to be also Rands in the finals. We're going to go in there, and every team is going to be very nervous to take on.
The naysayers already didn't have his making the finals.
Who cares?
And a lot of those naysayers were their own fans.
That's right.
But now this last 4 weeks,
people are starting to believe.
They're on the Serraldo bandwagon. They're on the Critter bandwagon. Actually, they've always been on the Critter bandwagon. They're on the Sexton bandwagon. They're on literally any player in the Canterbury bandwagon where they were dissing out those players. They're not dissing them out anymore. But you know what? I just want to say something. This Canterbury side reminds me of a Canterbury side from the past. The 1998 Canterbury side, I think they came from 9th. If you remember that year, 1998, yes, I am that old. They played a lot of passion. The fans were behind them. They played for each other. And, it came to the finals. They were literally the irresistible force, the immovable object. Who remembers that preliminary final against Parramatta? That was absolute mayhem. They blew Norths away. They beat St. George at Kogarah the first week of the finals. Yes, I remember that final series. It was 12 at halftime or 12-10 against, I think it was 12-4 at halftime against the Broncos, and then obviously the second half.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking, geez, are they going to win this grand final as well? But that year, Canterbury, they played out of their skins. They played for each other. They were everywhere. And this 2024 side reminds me of that 1998 side, because that 1998 side, Terry Lamb had retired 2 seasons earlier.
Yeah.
They still had a few champions left over from that 95 side, but there was a lot of, I wouldn't say, they weren't mediocre players. They were good players. Pretty much what they got now. And you know what? They kind of had a fair bit of utilities in that side,
So I cannot imagine what Belmore's going to be like in the finals. If it's like this in round 22,
I'll be camped out in Belmore. Because, you know, that game on the weekend.
I'll tell you what.
The beeps on the other side.
Bro, let me tell you.
We were hearing the cars beeping on the other side where Canterbury Road is.
Where's
the other
Billy?
end.
Billy, I'm just going to call my producer. If we make the finals and Belmore's lit up, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go live on YouTube from Belmore. Mark my words, if we are in the finals and we're killing it, we're going live from Belmore in and amongst the chaos. And we're going to make sure no one acts stupid either.
Can we go live from the Burger District? I might have to speak to them.
Yeah, we can do it.
Free fried chicken.
Oh, man. Tell me what you guys are up for. Whatever you guys, if you have any ideas for what you guys would like to do to celebrate together, you throw your ideas in the comments. You know, send us an email, podcast@thekennel.net.au. I'd love to sort of hear your ideas and see how we can make this final series one really special for all Doggies fans. You know, if we have the platform, I can organise something very, very gladly. But yeah, that's me sticking my neck out on the line. I think that we can make the grand final. I am daring to believe. I'm not saying that we definitely will, but I'm saying if we can maintain the momentum, maintain the rage, we get Max King back in a couple of weeks.
How good was Max King before the outside?
Oh, he was lovely. He spent his time with everyone.
Apparently, after talking to him, his grandfather's been hassling him to come back home to St. George.
No, he's not.
His grandfather's
never leaves.
His grandfather's the famous Johnny King, that played for the Dragons. So he's got a bit of Dragons pedigree in him. But I'll tell you what, after speaking to him, he's Canterbury through and through. So
he loves the Bulldogs. Re-signed recently.
What a gentleman,
mate! He's an absolute legend. I told him, I said, "Hey, do you want to come on the podcast?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So maybe we can get Max King on. He's
a lovely guy.
That would be insane. So look, guys, we've loved it. We've been, at about 60 people watching for the whole time, and what we want to do is we want to thank you all for really taking the time to be with us this evening. We've loved every second of it. We look forward to being here next Tuesday. We are dropping our Belmore vlog tomorrow, so watch out for that. Please be sure to share our channel with everybody, share the podcast, share everything that we've got. And we look forward to meeting with you guys next week after we beat the Dragons handily, and then we can focus in on that game. We can all sort of give Dibbo a big hug after the loss. I really, really look forward to it.
Come and say hi. I don't know how they contact you. Do they just inbox you or something?
Yeah, we've got.
I'll be on the hill, probably sitting on the south.
Reach out to us on our Instagram. We've got our Instagram. It's at Kennel Podcast.
I think I'll be on the hill, maybe the south eastern corner.
Yeah. Or you can leave a message below, or
I'll be sitting with Jack from the Red V podcast. So come down and say hi. I'll be in a Red V jersey.
Please,
if
come
you see me, come
hi.
over and say hello.
Yeah.
I might even head to Burgers District now after this podcast, so I'll probably be there in about 20 minutes if Elmo wants to join us.
We love you all. We have an absolute blast. I want to keep going, but it's 9 o'clock. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your love and all your support. Thanks to everybody who gave us super chats and all our new members. If you're not a member yet, click the link, become a member if that's something you want to do to help support the podcast. Thank you so much, guys. We love you all, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good evening and up the Dogs.
Have a great weekend, guys, and the rest of the week as well.